Hi, Steve here, and welcome to Jbrc Race Cars. Wow, do we have some radiators in front of us or what? We stock a large selection of radiators, and I'd like to talk to you just about how the evolution of the radiator, obviously when I first started in this business, has really changed. Starting up here in the front, the original, I guess as everyone knew it, as being the plastic Jbrc radiator. Again, I think unique because of its size and obviously because of lightweight. This particular radiator being made of plastic and aluminum, 1.25 inch upper and lower hoses, while real desired and real popular probably back in the early 80s and such, and while still used today, kind of has some limitations. It did revolve a little more around companies actually making a shroud for it that went on the radiator itself. See if I get this one to drop down on here. In doing so, it protected the top and bottom of the fins that were normally exposed. And then a fan assembly could be mounted on it, and did help in the effectiveness of the radiator itself as far as being a decent unit. But then comes along new aluminum radiators, and radiators with a lot of different features. I mean, some of these blocks being solid or filled blocks, some of the cylinder heads being solid cylinder heads, the amount of water that's probably needed to go through the cooling system, and again, weight being an issue conscious with all the racers. We got everything here. This little small guy I call it looks like almost a heater core condenser. Very small little radiator. Radiators jumping up to the next size level here, showing you with and without cap features. This one goes as far as, yeah, it does have an aluminum shroud and fan, but the unique thing about this is this dropped on the radiator while in the pit area. It can be doing a job if you're using a chiller, which this is set up for chiller fittings, to cool the radiator down, but yet to lose that weight going down track, unplug it, take the fan and shroud off and leave it behind in the pit area. Don't even take it with you. Then you move into radiators, larger, more cooling capacity, great for engines that require that and our bracket racing applications where you need a greater amount of cooling. As you can see, fan increases as far as the CFM and how much air the fan can pull. The radiators itself revolve around, instead of the traditional 1.5 inch upper and lower hose fittings, to being a female AN welded bung top and bottom, allowing you to thread in any fitting you want, anything from a rubber hose to an AN style fitting. Then that same radiator available with an upper hose and then a flange for the direct mount water pumps that bolt directly to the radiator itself, both in single and dual. This puts you a pump mounted right to the radiator, eliminates all the pump off the front of the engine. Now you plumb from the water pump directly up to your ports where the water pump would normally bolt to the engine itself. These are a couple of our real good series of radiators here. Again, available cap, no cap. Same features. Female bungs, mix and match whatever fitting combination that you need. Real high efficiency fans on them. Like I said, just a bunch has changed. Wish there was really only 1 or 2 radiators you had to carry, but for today's race cars and the different engine applications and such, as you can see, there's a wide variety. And if you go look in our catalog on our website, you'll see how many radiators, both in sizes, configurations of fittings, configurations of water pump direct mounts, fans and shrouds, no fans and shrouds, just what we have. Now that I've showed you the radiators and talked about them, let's go into the accessories necessary for mounting these all these different style radiators to your car. One of the most popular obviously here is just the tubular rod assembly that we use. Many of the radiators having bungs on the front side, as this one does, for the tab situation and these to be welded and mount on, as well as some of the radiators, whether they be with shrouds or not shrouds, would have them on the back side. So again, you can mount from either front or back side. Our kit has these tabs that weld off normally the front crossmember of the car. These can be broke. These ears can be to fit the notches to the front crossmember. And then a female tube like this would weld to this hole, and the male tube would slide down in there. Drill a hole, put a hairpin, and the little hairpin just adds a little insurance for keeping the radiator held into the mount. Again, the kit comes with everything you see here, all the bolt hardware and tabs, and that gets your radiator mounted. These are left long. You cut them off to the height that you desire, and that gets you mounted to the chassis itself. Then you're going to come in and need an overflow tank, and this happens to be a little bracket we have. This bracket mounts to many of these radiators, slotted for adjustment, and then an aluminum overflow tank, and the bracket will mount to there as well. Bracket can be broke at a 90, left straight, whatever you need to do, and then drain in the bottom. Coming in the top, you have a 1/4 inch NPT. You can use anything from a push lock fitting to, say, 1/4 inch to number 4 AN fitting, and plumb a overflow line directly into your overflow tank. While so many of the radiators now do or do not have upper hose provisions, or I should say do or do not have a radiator cap provision because of the height of the radiator mounted in relationship to maybe your manifold height, we carry a variety of upper radiator hose inline fillers, anything from 1.25" hose, 1.5", 1.75" to AN style in both sides of this. And this gives you a place to put your radiator cap on in the event that your radiator cap is going to be higher than the height of your radiator, and more in conjunction to the height of your engine. Many of the radiators now having provisions for our cooler fittings, like for our Chilly Willy engine cooler. This particular one, as well as many of them, use an AN female number 8 O-ring Boss fitting. And basically any of the radiators would have both a, what I'll call the socket and the plug, one on each of the radiator cooler or chiller fittings itself. And then you would normally plumb over to the chiller with a socket and plug as the same, and then basically these would go to your hoses on your chiller, and this would be your socket assembly when it was plugged together. I just happen to be plugging both the barb fittings in, but they would in fact plug onto the coupler fittings on the radiator tank itself. Also, in some of the radiators, or a radiator that would not have provisions for the chiller fittings right in the tank of the radiator itself, you can put this in line in your upper radiator hose, this being a one-way check valve. I don't know if I can do that in the camera or not, but there's one picture of it with the flap open, and then there would be the flap closed. And same, for instance, you would use number 8 O-ring Boss fittings, thread into the flapper valve, and these would be then plugged into the chiller unit itself. While the chiller is too big to have here on display, we do stock and sell the Chilly Willy engine chiller, and if you need more information on that and any of the other items we have for your cooling system, just look on our website, catalog, or give us a call. As you can see, a wide variety. We have everything you'll need to plumb and set up your cooling system. And as always, if you need any additional help, feel free to look us up on the web or give us a call. We're always here to help.